And here is your question. Right, so if you've read and understood, considering a clinical examination session, kindly begin.
Good evening. I enter the room. I wash my hands. I will.
Good.
I will. I will. Good. I will. Good. I will ask the
Present
patient. May
myself,
I?
yes.
I will present myself. I will. Good evening. I am Dr. Kuldeep, one of the surgical candidate. May I know your name and age of date of birth, please? May I know your age, and date of
Yes,
birth, please?
Tom, 67 years old.
Hello, Thomas. Today I was asked to examine your heart, which include looking, feeling your pulse, and listening to your heart as well as your neck veins. Is it okay with you?
Yes.
I know you are supposed to underwent surgery in a few days for your right hernia repair. Is it okay with you? Do you
Yes.
have any pain?
Yes. No.
Thomas, this examination will. I want you to take off your gown, and one of my staff will act as a chaperone for you. Is it okay with you, sir?
Yes, but you don't need chaperone in this one. It's a male patient, and you're male.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
I will start with. I want the patient to be. I adjust the bed to 45 degree, and I want the patient to be in the relaxed position. I start with the inspection. I will generally look for the shortness of breath as well as shortness of breath. I will look for the pallor. I will look for the cyanosis, and then I will ask the patient just outstretch your hands. I want to see the hands for any tar staining. I will want to see the hands for any xanthomas. I want to see for any signs of infective endocarditis like sphincter hemorrhages, Janvi's nodule, or Osler's nodules, and then I will want to see the lower. I want the patient to just remove the gown, remove the shorts. I want to see the lower limb to look for any signs of peripheral edema, and now I will ask the patient. I will just start with
You'll not
feeling
ask
of
the
the.
patient to remove the shorts. Shorts will stay. Just lift up or expose the legs.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. I will. Then I will check for the pulse. I will start with the first of all I will check with the temperature and temperature while with the pushira aspect with the push dorsum of my hand. I will check for the temperature, bilateral upper limb as well as bilateral lower limb, and then I will check with the index and middle finger. I will check the radial pulse, and I'll count for the rate as well as the rhythm. If I have time permits, I can measure for 15 seconds and then multiply with 4. Then I will check for the there is a synchronous radial pulse over the opposite hand. So I will examine the pulse over the opposite side also. Then I will check for the brachial pulse too. Then I will check for the I will ask the patient. I will now check for the water hammer pulse. Then I will ask the patient, do you have any pain in the shoulder? Then I will and then I will suddenly lift the arm, and then I will check for any water hammer pulse. Then I will check for the carotid pulse. I will ask the patient. I will auscultate the carotid pulse first to check for any bruit. If there is any bruit present, then I will not palpate, not check for the carotid pulse. Then I will start with the inspection of the precordium. Then I will closely look at the chest for any scar marks, any chest deformity. I will ask the patient to just abduct the shoulders to look for the axilla, to look for any sign, any thoracotomy incision. As the patient is having the history of pacemaker, I will find one intraclavicular incision towards the left side. Then then I will check for the palpation. I will check for the carotid. I will check for the I will check for this apex beat. I will palpate the intercostal space, and I will check in the mid clavicular line in the fifth intercostal space in the just below the nipple. I will check for the apex pulse. Then I will check for the heaves with the help of the heel of my hand. Then I will check for the thrills with the palms of my hand in all the aortic areas, in the all the valve areas. For example, for mitral valve, I will check for the in the apex pulse area. I will check for in fourth intercostal space, parasternal area for the tricuspid valve. For second intercostal space, right side, I will check for the aortic valve, and for the left side, I will check left second intercostal space. I will check for the pulmonary valves. Then I will feel the carotid pulse. Then I ask the patient, I will now listen to your heart. Then I will feel the carotid. I will feel the carotid area. I will feel the carotid area and carotid area for the bruit with the auscultation, and then I will palpate it. If there is no bruit, then I will palpate the carotid pulse. I will note the first heart sound. Then I will auscultate with the diaphragm of my stethoscope at the apex fifth at the mitral valve area. I will look for the heart sound S1, S2, and if I will find any abnormal added sounds and which is going up to the carotid, then I will suspect a aortic stenosis murmur, that is a ejection systolic murmur. Then I will ask the patient to lean forward and hold the breath in expiration, which can accentuate the murmur. Now I will feel if there is a murmur in the mitral area, then I will check for in the left lateral position. I will check for that, and I will see if it is accentuating in the expiration or not. The mitral stenosis murmur is mid diastolic murmur, and the mitral.
Okay, can you present your case now, please?
Today I have examined a 67-year-old male, Thomas, who was posted for elective right hernia repair. Presented for the cardiovascular examination. Today I have examined the cardiovascular system, which include there is on inspection there is a left-sided infraclavicular region. There is a scar mark suggestive of pacemaker insertion with a peripheral edema in the ankle area with normal S1, S2 sounds. There is no palpable murmur. There is no heave. There is no displacement of the apex beat.
Yes.
With some signs suggested.
What are your differential diagnosis?
My first differential diagnosis will be right heart failure.
Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. If time permits, I will want to look for I want to check for the sacral edema. I will want to look for the chest examination, back of the chest examination, to look for pulmonary edema, signs of pulmonary edema.
Yes, and vascular examination of upper limb.
Vascular.
Can you please tell me what investigations would you carry out to confirm your diagnosis?
I will investigate the patient with the 12 lead ECG, echocardiography, and blood pressure measurement. And
can you name few indications for pacemaker? Why patient has pacemaker?
Ma'am, if there is a heart failure, first indication is if there is a uncontrolled heart failure, decompensated heart failure. Second is if there is a loss of rhythm abnormalities like life-threatening atrial fibrillations.
Okay.
If there is a ventricular fibrillation, ma'am.
Okay.
And
all right. Who would you involve about the pacemaker? Patient has pacemaker, bell has gone, but one more. Okay, please.
Ma'am, I will involve the cardiovascular consultant, cardiovascular physicians, as well as the pacemaker team as a pace. I will notify the surgical doctor who gonna operate on this, and I will inform the OT technicians too if the patient is having pacemaker.
As a surgeon, why is it important for you to make sure or know about the pacemaker?
Because when we are doing surgery, we are using cautery, which can have a malfunction due to presence of the pacemaker. We have to switch off the phase of the pacemaker before doing the surgery.
How it can affect patient's health if you
It
don't
can have
remember to do it.
If we will not do it, can short circuit and it leads to loss of cardio. It leads to abnormal beat and loss of cardioversion.
All right, good. Thank you. Okay, no, well, I give you 1 minute extra. Okay, right. Now feedback. Would anyone else want to give feedback, or should I begin? Today, you were in hurry.
Ma'am,
Yes, please, go ahead.
Shouldn't we do the examination of the inguinal hernia?
No,
Okay.
because patient consultant has already put the patient for, it's already on the list. You don't have to do it. It's pre-op examination, like cardiovascular examination in the pre-op. Just as a CT2 or something, you are doing it. Just made up story. Yes. Dr. Karma, you raised hand.
Yes, ma'am. I had one question. Like,
Yes,
Dr. Kuldeep, when he was examining, he did the lower limb, leg examination in the middle, no, ma'am, during inspection.
during general
So,
examination, yes.
yes, during general examination. So, do we do that time or like at the end, ma'am? Because
Right.
some videos
It's
they
very
show
good.
at the end.
It's a good question. It's how you train yourself. And the aim is to do it in such a way that you're saving your time. If you'll go back and do it again, like when he's examining for the arms and legs, and if at the same time he remembers to check the sacral edema, so that's how he has trained himself. But if he has forgotten that, and then at the end he remembers and tells it, like he told now, that is also as good as being done. But in the general examination, he has missed many things. Like when he was like looking at the legs and hands, then he could have looked at the mouth and the eye, pallor in the eye, and the central cyanosis of dehydration or oral hygiene in the mouth. And then he can look at the neck as well, if the neck veins are engorged, or if there is any carotid pulsation, or if the trachea is deviated on anything. Then he can even look at the visible apex pulsation or any scars on the chest, because he told me separately what he'll look in the chest. So when I think he was doing palpation, then he remembers apex beat and heaves. I think he did check the thrills as well. Did you,
Yes.
doctor? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I checked for the thrills, ma'am. I checked for scars of the chest also, ma'am.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's why I left the patient want to see the axilla also. I
Yes.
missed the oral hygiene part. I
And
missed
the
the
neck.
face. Yeah. I missed the hepatojugular reflex. I missed the jugular venous pressure, as well as the face, mainly face inspection.
Yes, face, oral cavity and
Yes,
the
ma'am.
eyes.
Yes, ma'am.
It's also important. Yes, everything else you have covered very well. And if time would have allowed you, you could have even do the measurement of blood pressure, because it's cardiovascular system. If time allows, then this also you would do before you can even mention it at the end. So yes, it was good. But one could listen and one could tell that you were in a hurry. Like,
sorry, ma'am.
That's all right, but take your time and make sure, because like you said, okay, you'll ask the patient to take off no, and then you ask the patient for chaperone. You will not ask the patient for chaperone here. It's not a female patient whose cardiovascular examination you are doing, even if it was a female patient. For cardiovascular examination, you can ask the patient to keep the BH, and then you can do the examination. You don't have to ask her to take everything, absolutely everything off. So you don't maybe need a chaperone, because you're not going to come in contact with the private parts. It's with the visual examination, like with the eye, and then with the stat. Nothing you're doing as much with like touching. Right, good. Dr. Duffer, you raised hand. Yes, please.
I just want to ask. The exposure for cardiovascular. It
Yes.
is done immediately before take consent, or after we doing the peripheral examination for hand and face.
It is what? None?
Exposure.
Yes, please.
After take consent from patient to examine the cardiovascular system. So
Yes.
I need to expose, or firstly I do peripheral examination for hand and face, and then exposure.
So you'll ask the patient to take off the gown.
Yeah.
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 And keep the shorts on.
It's before start examination.
Before starting the examination, you went inside like you did. Can you, Dr. Kuldeep, sorry. Yes, you went inside, you introduced your, they do give
Yes.
female, doctor, they give female. They give female. Okay, yes, you went inside, you washed your hands, you introduced yourself, and then you confirmed the ID of the patient, name and age. And then
Yeah.
you took the consent for examination. And then you began. Yeah. Dr. Kuldeep, can you please read the ECG?
Ma'am, this is the 12 lead ECG, ma'am,
Okay.
showing wide
What
QRS
this
complex, ma'am.
circle is
Wide,
showing, yes, in
wide
lead one.
QRS complex.
Okay.
Wide QRS complex in
What
lead
does
one,
that
ma'am.
signify?
Ma'am, ventricular hypertrophy, ma'am.
Good. And what is these arrows in lead 3 and lead 2? V2.
Ma'am, this is tall waves, ma'am. Tall Q.
You have to read this. Yes.
Ma'am, these are the tall PQRS, ma'am. To look for the ventricular hypertrophy, ma'am, we measure the circles actually, boxes, ma'am.
Yes, but you
lead.
have to tell me what this is. If you can read it, like, it's, how is it? How would you explain it? How is the rhythm?
Ma'am, it is irregular, ma'am. As a P, I am not able to see the P wave, ma'am.
Blip or spike on the ECG wave form, but you have to read it. It's typical of pacemaker. It's not of the patient. It's of someone else. I took it from the Google, but it's typical of pacemaker. In cardiovascular examination, how many different stations can come, please?
Ma'am, patient might be having any arrhythmia like situation, ma'am, like mitral stenosis, aortic stenosis.
So you will be giving exams, so you should know there could be 5 different types of scenarios that can come. This is pacemaker, but there could be of aortic stenosis. There could be of aortic mitral regurgitation. There could be valve replacement. And the 5th one could be valve replacement and mitral regurgitation.
Okay, ma'am.
So how would they differ? If it's aortic stenosis, how would that differ?
If there is aortic stenosis, there will be a left ventricular hypertrophy, which leads to displacement of the apex beat, and there will be a murmur which is going up to the carotid.
Yes, ejection systolic murmur.
Ejection systolic murmur. It is going up to carotid sheath, ma'am.
Very good. And then if it's mitral regurgitation, how would patient present?
Ma'am, in mitral regurgitation, patient will be having a pan-systolic murmur over the apex.
Yes.
It is going up to the axilla, and we have to listen it in the left lateral position, ma'am.
Good. If it is valve replacement?
Ma'am, there will be a metallic click of that valve, if whether it is a mitral valve, whether it is aortic valve.
Midline sternotomy as well.
And yes, ma'am.
And for the same, the 5th scenario, valve replacement and mitral regurgitation.
It has
will be there,
both, ma'am.
and then metallic click will also be there.
As well as a murmur of the mitral stenosis, mitral regurgitation will be there.
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Can you put the ECG picture?
Yes.
On the screen?
Yes, please. Can you see now?
Yes. The circle for this.
Yes.
For ABR,
what does it signify?
This is the wrong connection of ECG lead.
No.
The spiking, there is a spike for pacemaker. And this is the positive AVR, it is mean the wrong connection for ECG.
Dr. Dhafar, you are seeing in AVR, na? The AVR will show the mainly right-sided heart activity.
Okay, but if you're looking for ECG, AVR positive just in the wrong connection of ECG, because the IVR is negative, always almost negative.
Yeah, if you see the starting pictures, you will see the starting, there will be a negative thing, because in the starting, if you see in the lead one, na,